For the second part of 1.2, I am going to use a different marker because the other marker was not working very well. So we're going to start by exploring a little bit more about grouping symbols first. And so example 2, if you remember, grouping symbols, right, can be parentheses. Ooh, I kind of went off the page. Let me just, parentheses, brackets, ellipses, and don't forget the fraction bar. So starting with A of example 2, we have a very simple problem. 7 times 13 minus 8. What do we do in this situation? Well, you always start with the innermost parentheses, which here is easy because there's only the 1. Before you can multiply by 7, you want to calculate what's in here. And this gives you a value of 5. So you're left with 7 times 5 is 35. Let's try this example. Now with each example, they're going to get a little bit more complex and take you through a little bit more of PEMDAS. So I'm actually going to write PEMDAS here on the right, just to remind ourselves. And you'll notice I put multiplication and division on the same line, and addition and subtraction on the same line, because essentially they're left to right. It doesn't matter if you division or multiplication, they have the same priority as long as you're going left to right. All right, B is 24 minus 3 squared plus 1. Okay, so what does PEMDAS tell us? PEMDAS tells us our first step is parentheses. That's our first go. Well, then what happens? I have isolated, I need to start here, but as I look in that parentheses, I have to go through the sequence. I'm pretending I'm just focusing on this. So I'm going to rewrite the 24, and I'm going to act like the 24 doesn't exist. I rewrote it so I haven't lost it. I have to carry it down. And now I'm looking just at what's in that parentheses. So then I go through PEMDAS again. Is there another parentheses in there that I should go through? Nope. But there is an exponent, and so it's next in my sequence. I need to do that before I do any addition. So I'm going to do my exponent next. It's going to be 9 plus 1. So I've gone to my parentheses, and I've started with my exponent. But I still have a parentheses that needs to be worked out, right? I can't do 24 minus 9 because it's 24 minus 9 plus 1, right? So I need to make sure that I work out what's in the parentheses before I subtract what's in here from 24. So I get 24 minus 10. And I'm left with 14. Let's look at one more before we now use it to evaluate using expressions. Here, they're going to give you 2 sets of grouping symbols to evaluate. So 2 bracket 30 minus 8 plus 13 and another bracket. When you have more than one set of grouping symbol, you always start with the innermost one. You also have to remember to rewrite everything. Why? Because it's very, very easy to lose track of things. I've been doing this for years and years, and I can do a lot of great mental math, but trust me, if I don't write things down, I will lose them. All right, so 2, I'm going to rewrite this bracket because I have to start with the innermost, and the innermost bracket is this. So I'm going to rewrite the rest so I don't forget it. And I'm going to focus on what's in here. Well, there's no exponent this time, so I don't have to put in an extra step. I can just add what's in here. And 8 plus 13 is 21. And I could have also rewritten it, by the way. I could have rewritten it this way. It's fine. You could have leave the parentheses around it or not. It doesn't matter so much. Next, I do the subtraction, right? That's my next step. I can't multiply by 2 until I know that I'm multiplying 2 by. I still have not finished. I did the first set of grouping symbol, the inner parentheses, but I didn't do the outer one yet. And I have to finish the outer one before. I'm still not done with the P step, right? I did the inner parentheses, but I haven't done the outer one, and I can't multiply until I've done both sets. So 30 minus 21 is going to give me 9. And again, I could write this as 2 times 9 if I want to. It doesn't matter. But either way, I know that my answer is going to be 18. Now, I will encourage you, do not skip steps. It will kill you. I know you're going to be tempted. I know you're going to be in a hurry, but do not skip steps. One more grouping symbol to take you through, and that's the division bar. And I could not fit that on the other page, though I wanted to, so I'm going to put it on a separate page. Now, the division bar tells you that you have to do this on top, and if it helps you, group these in parentheses so that you don't get tempted to try to divide 8 by 5 and 4 by 2, because you will always get a wrong answer. So that might be a temptation, do this, okay? Whenever you have a division bar is a grouping symbol. Okay, it tells you that you need to do what's on top, what's on the bottom, and then divide, right? In terms of PEMDAS, if the division bar, I know it doesn't look like a parentheses, but it acts like one. If it's a grouping symbol, right, and parentheses is really just means a grouping symbol, then that has to go first before you do exponent, multiplication, division, which is the case here, and addition, subtraction. So we have to add 8 plus 4 is 12, and subtract on the bottom. 5 minus 2 is 3 before we come down here and we do the division that gives us an answer of 4. Okay, so I wanted to do this because we are going to use it in the next problem, in example 3. Example 3 has the instructions: evaluate the expression, and they're going to give you the expression when x equals 4. That means they're going to give you an algebraic expression with a variable, in this case x, and you're going to have to figure out what would this be if x is 4. So here's the expression: 9x divided by 3 parentheses x plus 2. Okay, and I've left PEMDAS at the top to guide us as we evaluate. But the first step, when you have a situation like this, and I will actually write step 1, is substitute 4 for x. Okay, so whenever you see x, you're going to put in a 4. So your first step is to do this: 9 times 4, and on the bottom, 3 times 4 plus 2. Once you've done that, you're just going to go through PEMDAS again, right? We had this at the top. You're just going to go through your orders of operation until you get the correct answer. So is there a grouping symbol? Is there a parentheses? Well, there is actually, right? Because there's 2. There's a division bar, and there's this one. In this situation, you're going to start with the innermost, right? And now if I follow what's up here and I put a parentheses around, if I were to put a parentheses around here and around there, you'll see this is the innermost parentheses. It's the first one you start with. So if you begin PEMDAS, or order of operation, operations, it's plural, I start with my grouping symbol. So I'm going to be left with 9 times 4 on top. I'm not touching that, but I'm going to do my innermost grouping symbol, which is the 4 plus 2 on the bottom. So I'm going to be left with 3 times 6 on the bottom. Okay. Well, now I'm left with 9 times 4 divided by 3 times 6, right? But I've got this division bar as a grouping symbol, which means I need to calculate what's on the top first, bottom second. 9 times 4 is 36, 3 times 6 is 18, before I do my division. So I've done a lot of grouping symbols. I did this one, then I've done the division bar, which is my other grouping symbol, and now I can finally come all the way, there's no exponents, I can come all the way down to multiplication division, and 36 divided by 18 gives me a 2. Okay, now typically I will not give you all of the practice problems, but this is such an important lesson that I want you to stop right now, and I want you to do all guided practice 5 through 10. That is your homework, or part of your homework. There's going to be one more when I'm done. So I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to go through part 3.